Hello guys, how you doing? In this video, I will guide you how to make some kind of dialog in the Jetpack Compose. If you just start the Jetpack Compose, it will take a lot of time to check it happens in your code base for different kind of dialogs. So I hope this video is will help you to reduce the time and boost you to do other tasks related to your Android project. So one kind of the alert dialog in this video is related to the text message dialog. The second dialog is related to the single choice dialog. The third dialog related to the multiple choice dialog. It has the fourth dialog related to some user input the text field, and then we can receive that information from the user. And the last one related to the daytime picker, that user can change the time and we can display information somewhere in the app. So let's jump into the demo how it works. Example, I just demo 1 here and you will see. Example, I choose the time picker here. I can change the time and user click, and the time here update to all the stuff will be the same, but you can jump in and see how it works in this video. We will go to the first part of dialog. From the Android Studio, you can create the empty Compose applications, and then I had defined some code already there to display the alert view from the button click. So example, I create one the composer functions here. It displays a list button. So I had that column to contain a list button here, and it had the horizontal alignment. It will be the center of the device, and we had vertical space, different elements in that column by about 8 dB. And first of all, I will put for the first button that will call the alert. It's a display the alert dialog on the screen, and it had a state to show and hide status of dialog. And when the state is true, the dialog will be displayed. So under the shortcut of the alert dialog view, it will call the common dialog because we had that dialog we can reuse for other dialog type. Example, for the single choice or multiple choice. So I want to use the disable state, or when state change from the OK or cancel button, I just use that. So the dialog, it had a title and it had the information here. So the content here just the information, so that I define the text used here. So let's go to the command dialog. So in the command dialogs, I will use the alert dialog from the Jetpack Compose. It has a method here. It has on this request. That means we use it boot outside of the dialog. It will dismiss if we set the properties that it default just outside and dismiss. It has a title. Title here we can put some composable function, and I just put a column to display the text title and the divider. And content we can put some composable functions, and then it has the text or maybe just a lot of items in that information too. It has a button with the dismiss button. We can put the dismiss button. It's one kind of composable functions, and user can click on that button and then it will change the state of button and the dialog will be disappear. And it has confirm button too. We can define some modifier. I expect you know about the modifier. So let's put that button to the greeting and build the app and see how it works. Okay, or we can put that to the review here. We can put to the button, and then we can split and see the code how it works. Yeah, while it's waiting for build, I can build on device too. This part I can delete this. So the most interesting here, how do we handle the state? Every time the state change, and alert dialog will automatically display on the screen, or we can see the result screen. And then we have some button and display the button and display the first dialog. So keep watching and we will see how other dialog will be implemented in the Jetpack Compose. The second dialog does the the single choice in this video. So basically we already had the first dialog with the alert, and I forget to explain to you guys how to display the alert dialog. Here we had the state to store the state of the alert dialog. Here it's just one kind of the boolean. So every time user click on the alert button, the state that will change to true. So that true in the compose, it will automatically enable true here, and the alert dialog will be displayed. So the second dialog, that's a single choice. We also need to have the variable to handle that state. So we had the button for the single choice dialog, and every time user click that, and then it will set the value to true. And here we had the composable for single choice dialog. Let's see how it's displayed. I just single choice state here, and I go to that function as it's also called to the command dialog. So that means command dialog, this had the cancel and OK buttons. It's only handle, and I don't want to rewrite the code anymore, so just reuse that. And we go to the single choice view. That's the content of the single choice in the dialog. Here I had a list of options. That's a list of options here, and we can have some the state handle here. It had a state of handle for mutable, and then on option selected we need to update the selected item in the list. So we have used the column to display the list of alert. Here you can see how it works by make the review for that. So we just call the review, then we call the single choice review, and then we call the single choice view. So and then we can review, and then it will show here. So let's come back to the single choice view. We can see, so it had a column, it had a list of row, and for each row item it had the radio button, and it had the text to display that information. So every time user click on the row, we can use in the modifier to handle the selected here. So when it's selected, that's a property to make sure that that row only selected. So we just compare the text with selected option from the state, and every time user click on that, we need to handle the behavior users set a new text, so that the text from this one, so it's just set a new text here. It's the same behavior for the radio button, so we also need to check that one only the selected or not, and every time we click event, and then we need to handle two. We can display some modifier from style, the text, and some part in here. So under the hood we need to boost that information to the buttons compose, and in the button compose we had the single choice, and we also had some relate to event here. And after that we can rebuild and see how it's run on the emulator. So just wait a little bit time, but now we can see the single choice view on the review. Here we can see it's like this, but how is displayed on the alert dialog, we can see for single choice. So it's only rebuilt, and we can see the two buttons here. It had the single choice dialog. Every time you click the button, and then it will store the selected value in the selected option here. So we can get the value by text, and look like it's there. So when click outside, it's dismissed. I want to modify this one with the top button a little bit. Right now it's so close to the top, and then we choose the top equal 16 dB. And after rebuilding, we will see the app will look like on the emulator. We can see the alert and single choice, and alert had the button on the top. It looks better, and now we can click the single choice. We can see different options, and user can cancel by click outside the dialog. And yeah, that's for the single choice dialog. Before going on with the third dialog, that is multiple choice dialog, I will explain on the relate stuff on the alert dialog. So you see on the alert dialog, user click outside and it will dismiss the dialog. And how do we handle in the Jetpack Compose? We can go to the alert dialog and we will see. From the alert dialog, it has some properties here. We can see the dialog properties, and in default, it has some that dismiss on back press button is true, and dismiss on click outside is true too. In case you want to dismiss your dialog, or you just doesn't need to implement that properties. If you want to prevent some dismiss when user click back or when user click outside, you just override these properties. So that's related to stuff click outside dismiss the dialog. So let's go continue with the third dialog, that's a multiple choice dialog. I already defined all stuff here. Example, we had in the button view, we have another stage for multiple dialog, and then when the multiple value is true, it will display the multiple choice dialog. It's the same scenarios for other buttons. So we can see here we have the text, and we can see the 3 buttons on the preview, and we can see the multiple choice dialog view here. It's also called the command dialogs. It's called the multiple choice. I think it should call the multiple choice. It should call multiple choice dialog here. And in the multiple choice dialog, we will see it have the radio button. Oh yeah, it doesn't call the radio button, it just call the list because it's a checkbox. But by the way, we need to call the check option. Okay. Oh, we need to rename that again. Yeah. So we have renamed that to make sure it meets the coding conventions. We have the list, and we use the column to display each item of the check. And for each item, we have the checkbox, and we have the text here. On checkbox, we handle the event when user change the value, and we just check here. And other thing on the select, we also check that one only check or not. Add index. So in the stage, we just check the stage and just the same. It has multiple and the check option here. So every time it's the list, and it has stage of the multiple here. Yeah, and every time user change the status, it will update, and it will update the list, and we can see the result here. How it work? This multiple choice that's missing because I just recall the single choice. So I review again. You will see the result on the app. Yeah. So far look like it's run. Let's check. You can see the check. We can check here, and then update. Yeah. That's the multiple choice dialog. Keep watching, and you guys will see how do we enter the text view in the Jetpack Compose dialog. Hi, if we watch the video from beginning to now, we will see the 3 kinds of dialogs. We had the alert dialog, single choice dialog, and multiple choice dialog. And now we are going to have the input text with dialog. Here we can see that we usually use the alert dialog and put the content with different kind of dialog here. So I will use the input text like the login screen. I shared the last video about the login screen in the Jetpack Compose, so you guys can watch that video again. I will put on the right corner of the screen. So we had the input with the input dialog. We can copy the same here. I define the input and I update the value that's with the state of input dialog. I put one more. Does it call the input dialog state or something like that? Okay, so if the user change the input dialog state, we will update the value. When user click on the input dialogs button, it will change the state to true, and we check that, and we have the input view. Input view will put to the alert dialog, so we will make something really the same. I will copy this one. Instead you reuse that, I can put to that screen directly, or maybe you can put somewhere you want. Input state, and then we need to put here with the after we put the input view here, we can run the app. Because in the input view we use some experimental of Compose UI API. If you watch the last video about the login with Jetpack Compose, you will see that error too. So now I need to add the declaration with the display here. So I believe now we had the input dialog, and we can check again to see how it works here. It also has some issue here, and then we need to add the experimental annotation here. And then we rebuild again. It will build and run the input dialog with the username and password. Just wait a little bit. Okay. So now it come back. We will see the input dialogs, and then we have the username and password. It's something duplicate here, and then I need to remove the username in the button. Where is it? And somewhere I need to scroll up, because we already had a title in the input view, so I don't need a title here, so I leave it in none. It will display with the one title. In some scenario, you can define the title in your content view or in the title of the dialog, but here I define the title in the input view. You can see in this one that I don't need the title from the dialog, so we can see the result again. Yeah, now it had the input, username and password. And how do we handle different action and display the visible and invisible here? You can review again about the login with Jetpack Compose in my video. I will put in the right corner here, or I will put in the comment. So that's it, the input dialog. The last part of this video is about the time picker dialog, and how do we implement that. Let's see inside now. So we will use both that to the person compose too, and then we just put here with the time picker dialogs, and we can see how it's implemented, because we just reuse the time picker dialog in the Android, and every time user click the button, it will display that dialog, and we can declare with the context. We get the local context current here to put to the time picker dialogs, and I assume that you know how to initialize the time picker dialogs. We need to put the current values, or maybe the value you just set the last time, and here after that we put the last value we set here, and we will display the button with outline button with the on click event, and we will make the time picker dialog show, and in the text it will get the value update after change. And we need to call this time picker dialog. We need to call here. Yeah, and we will review the app and see how it works. And in this one, it also use the multiple state and remember. So every time we change the value for hours and minutes, it will update, and we can see the value change in the text field at the bottom here. You can see, I think it's only still running. So every time we change, and that's status update, and the value updates, and the buttons label update, so we can see the result. And on the screen we have the button that will display the time picker dialog. You can see I made it in middle screen for easy to see. We can change the hour is 20 hour is my local time, and then we can change the minute, or maybe we can change the 1930 is earlier, and after we change again is you use the time last we selected and change to 20 and 30. It will update, it will store the value we have changed, and that's all. With all the dialogues in the Jetpack Compose, I hope with this video you guys can save a lot of time when you develop the Jetpack Compose in Android, and it will push your performance and process with some kind of dialogues in Jetpack Compose. If you like the video, and please share with your friends, or you want to receive more videos from my channels, just subscribe my channels so I will make more video. Or maybe you have some comment and some idea to the video, just comment, I will answer and make a new video according to your comment. Thank you for your time. See you.